girls stop today using these chemical relaxers.
Jenny started using relaxers at 8 years old. 20 years later, she went to a fertility doctor to have a baby with her partner.
That day, he had to do a biopsy because he saw something in my uterine lining. 3 days later, I got a call. I'm 28 years old, and I was just diagnosed with uterine cancer.
The lawsuit comes days after an almost 11-year study found a link between the use of chemical hair straightening products and uterine cancer.
On Friday, we filed this case against L'Oreal and a number of defendants who knew, we allege and will prove, who knew that these chemicals were toxic, that they led to cancer, that they led to endocrine disorder.
Jenny, who's one of 6 girls, can never have kids.
September 2018, that's when I had a full and total hysterectomy. And at that time, at the age of 28, my dreams of becoming a mother were gone.
Just like with talcum powder, we are begging, please, please, don't use these chemical relaxers. We don't want any more little girls that have their dreams ripped out of their hearts. If you're out there.
All right. Thank you very much for watching and listening. So we want to talk about that video. What do you think? Do you think what they are saying is actually correct? Do you think, what's your view around it? You know, you don't want to just let us hear. I'm sure it's deep, but what will you say about this video? Because I'm sure it's already out there, and people are having their views. So what's your view? Auntie Diolaus, join us. What's your view? Everybody, our guests, join us.
Okay. Hi everyone.
That's it. Hi.
Okay. So, well, I think I'm sure almost every one of us has seen that video at one point in time or the other, or you heard about that. And I think it's a reality that is out there. It's scary because well, for those in the developed world, they probably maybe had a bit of information, but in Africa and where I come from, it's very end, and people are still I don't know. It's crazy, and we're using it on our children. We've been using it. Our mothers have been using it. We use it over the years. I'm finding out that this can happen to us. It is alarming, but I want to believe it's true, and I don't even know what else we can do about it. Thank you.
It's true, but I have a question because my mom is still relaxing her head now in her 60s. So I'm wondering, nothing has gone wrong. Yeah, me. Let's go me. I'm not scatter these people. Nothing has gone wrong. My mother, if she was here right now, would tell me, Auntie, I cannot but relax his hair. She still relaxed her hair 2 weeks ago and set it. So I don't know what to say about, but let's hear it because she's going to argue about it. That's for the Generation X. Okay. I'm listening. So I don't know. I have a reservation that if nothing went wrong with my mother, so why do we think, there's another one I sent to everybody. It was about fibroids. She said she used a relaxer on her hair and her fibroids were increased instead of shrinking. So let's hear every other person. Auntie has said I want to what she thinks. So let's see.
Okay, so for me, good evening everyone once again. It's good to be here and put this together. So watching this video and even the other video you said about fibroids, when someone is suspecting that her fibroids was, she had a recurring issue due to the relaxer, that she applied on her hair. So for me, there were a lot of questions, and apart from questions, this conversation is very layered. So from a legal perspective, as a lawyer, I would always, talk about that. Let me just start from the legal perspective. Let me give that perspective first. So it brings to fore the duty of care in hair care products. So this has just shown that, number one, there should be proper and further research on, the side effects of the use of relaxers on the health of women, basically. of people that use relaxers, African or Black Americans. I mean, yeah, just basically people of African descent or people with fussy hair or whatever, people that shall use relaxer. What is the health effect? What is the effects of those relaxers on their hair? So I just very recently went natural, full on natural. I think about 2 months ago. That's when I properly transitioned and cut my hair, and I'm fully natural. But before that, I was relaxed. You know, I was on relaxed hair. And for me, I used to say then that I would never go natural because of my history with natural hair. So I would say for the whole world, you know, thought natural hair was something, you know, will I say fashionable. I was on natural hair in primary school. My mom did not relax my hair. So the whole world was relaxing their hair and it was looking so silky, you know, so it looked very neat. And I was the one with the curly hair. So no matter how much I would place my hair to just curl back and to wash my hair was a problem. And you know, back then, what was the function that my mom had about how to care for natural hair? My mom was relaxing her hair. So she washed my hair. To comb my hair was a problem. So I just never liked it. But the whole world was on relaxed hair. I'm talking about the late 90s to the early 2000s. Then I got to secondary school, I cut my hair, you know. My secondary school, you cut your hair. So it was when I finished secondary school, like, finally, I can do what I want. I started relaxing my hair. But I had a problem. No matter how much I relaxed my hair would not relax. But it would burn. When I say burn, I mean burn, you know. And after burning, I would have sores all over my scalp. The hair still wouldn't relax. So it took me 10 years to find the perfect relaxer that relaxed my hair and not burn it. By the time I found relaxer, shortly after that, I found out that I had alopecia in the middle of my hair. So I didn't even know what was alopecia in the photo. I just knew that there was a bald spot, you know, and it kept expanding little by little, and I didn't know what to do. So it was only recently I found a very good trichologist who is also a medical doctor. So she's very, very well read in that area and has been helping me with it, and there's been so much improvement. You know, I just completed a 6 months treatment, you know, process regarding it. So what am I saying? I'm saying now, from a legal perspective, we need to hold these companies accountable. I want to see more lawsuits, even from Nigeria here, against these hair relaxer companies, because there's a duty of care that they have towards their consumers. So it's almost like smoke, when you're smoking a cigarette. Even when you watch the advert, what would they say? The Department of Ministry of Health warns that smokers are liable to die young. So they give that caveat there.
Disclaimer.
So is there a caveat like that on their relaxer, you know, containers or, you know, sachets or whatever? Do they, have they themselves done research to confirm that what they are doing for people, for aesthetics, will not cause harm for their health? You know, there's so many things going on in the world right now. I've heard about people that died from fibroids operation, that didn't go well. People that have died from cancer, we hear it every day. And when you see that people are spending so much money on these things and not realizing the damage it causes to their health because there is no, you know, they don't have the awareness. So I think the government needs to step in, WHO needs to step in to do further and concrete research to be sure about the effects of these things. Also, these companies should take upon themselves to do the proper research on their products, not about just the work it can do, but about the side effects it can have, and then warn their consumers, or maybe find alternatives in the, you know, ingredients in the formation of the products that are used for.
That's okay. I think we should just, the information, don't go into it.
So I think I've just covered the legal aspect.
A bit, yes, a little legal aspect. And when you were mentioning, I was thinking of Auntie Diola. She's a pharmacist. So I'm like, how do the pharmacists come into this part? But anyhow, we'll come back to that. So what's I and our other speakers, Esther and Love, what do you have to say to that video?
I welcomed everyone. It's great to be here. And what I would say concerning the video is that it's not the first time we're seeing research about relaxers come out. And when we even look at the stats, we see that about, you know, research has been found that about 30% of African-American women develop fibroids, which is compared to about 6% of white women. By the age of 50, 80% of Black women would have developed fibroids or some form of cancer based on the past practices that they were using to judge by that time. And so we have also seen relaxers being linked to this, right? And there's a lot of shouting about relaxers, but when you read the paper, it says that those people that relax their hair more than 7 or more times in a year. So if you relax your hair once in a year, they're not really saying you're going to get that. But if you're doing 7 times, which is a lot, think about it, that is every 2 months you're relaxing your hair basically, and that is a lot. I don't know how much of your hair has grown so much that you have to relax your hair every 2 months, practically. The hair fibroids or uterine cancer more. But to speak to, the fact that your mom didn't develop anything, when you say 80%, there's a 20% that is still there, right? Or there is a percentage of people who do not have it, and that is amazing. But I think that if you're giving statistics that are startling, you don't know where you're going to lie, within the percent or outside of it. And if something is clearly affecting your health, I think it's best to take precaution to not be part of that percentage or to not be part of that statistic. It's something that we don't wish for anyone. If you've seen people who have dealt with fibroids or uterine cancer, you don't. So from my perspective, why should you test and see whether you will fall into that average or not? And so, I mean, we're Christians, we know about grace, but I'm also, of the fact that we have been giving knowledge to help us make better decisions about our health, and that is the food we eat, what we do, how we exercise, and that now includes our hair, because we're finding out that the things we're doing and the practices that we're doing actually affect our health in the long run. And I would also touch on something that Toyin mentioned. I'm a hair scientist, so part of what I do is that I test products to see if they do what they're claiming that they do. For something like a relaxer, clinical studies meant to have been done that will take probably years to see the effects, because relaxers have been used for a very long period of time, and things like fibers developing and it being linked to something like relaxers takes many years of research and many subjects to test before they can come up with that outcome. Have relaxers been here long enough for them to do that? Yes. And so I think that unfortunately, sometimes it takes the consumer speaking up before people decide to do anything, because this is a money-making machine for companies. We think about L'Oreal, we think about all the companies that were here. Almost everyone was relaxing their hair in Nigeria. It would take a lot of push for them to decide to push them off the shelves for people to not relax their hair, because they are making a lot of money from it. The reason people even stopped creating maybe as much because more people were buying natural hair products, so they were seeing that there was less demand for it. And so I do agree with you that there needs to be a lot more regulation, not even just on relaxers, but the products we use as Black women in general. And unfortunately, that includes us speaking up and making sure that even in future legislation, any product that is going to be made is properly tested and properly evaluated for our health as well. So that is
awesome.
My take on that.
Thank you. That's very, very insightful to see, what your own side of as an air scientist, and even making me even understand it better why it's really not good to go ahead with these chemicals, and maybe how to prove to my mom not to stop relaxing her hair. That's another story for another day. Okay, so let's go to Love. Love, what do you think? And Esther, let's do it briefly so we get into the conversation itself.
Good evening, everybody. Okay, so for me, I would say, let me start like that. Okay, so for me, it's been, I can't remember the last time I used a relaxer on my head. I can't. I've been natural for some time. At that time, to be very honest, I had no idea why I went natural. It wasn't because maybe something was happening. One day I was just tired, and I'm like, you know what? I think I should cut my hair. And my father heard and was like, in whose house? I okay, let's use another means. So I had to start trimming it off gradually, and then I just transitioned basically. But from this video, I know most times things like this, so it's very possible that there have been other people that have probably experienced maybe fibroids or some form of cancer due to the use of relaxers, but they've not been speaking up. And like I said, you need lots of research. And I mean, we've been using relaxers for years. It's a good thing that people are gradually, seeing the need to come out and say, oh, this is what is happening. In Nigeria, I don't know about other places, but in Nigeria, man, it's going to take a lot of work to make people stop using relaxers. Like Antopa said, her mom is still going to relax her hair. It's sometimes change can be very difficult for most of us. It can be very difficult. But I think when I saw that video, I did some research on my own, and truly there has been different studies coming up now, and showing that there is actually a link between hair relaxers and uterine fibroids and some other medical conditions, and majorly is because of some ingredients that are inside of the relaxers, things from sodium hydroxide to parabens, all those things basically. But I have questions though. In my head, I'm like, how do people release products that are not safe for people to use? And it's quite funny that this is even a conversation in this time and age. I don't know how we got here, but it's still a good thing that we're talking about this. And I think another way too, these chemicals would enter. I know that when I used to relax my hair, sometimes it just burns and it just really hurts. So I feel probably due to the irritation of the skin, those burns, it's possible for those chemicals to seep into the skin and just build up in the body, and over time start to affect those organs and cause problems. And it's just a very painful thing, because even currently I think we have guys that also use hair relaxers. I know we have ladies that use hair relaxers, but we have guys that use hair relaxers. So now
who invented it was a man.
So now we're discovering fibroids, and there are some cases of some ovarian issues. So my question is, what's really happening to the men? And I know men have this very bad habit of not taking their health seriously until something tragic happens to them. So in my head, I'm like, are there men that things have actually happened to, but they've not thought about it to say maybe it's the relaxers I'm using. So, but it's a very good thing that this has come, because before now, I don't think I would have sat down to think, oh, okay, I think maybe there's something bad happening, or something bad happening to the men as well. So this is a very, very good conversation, for us to also think and be like, am I using relaxers on my children? Because there are some of us that still relax our sisters' hairs, and so this is a very good eye opener. So it's a good one. It's a good one.
Thank you so much. That's very insightful. A quick one from Love, then we'll move to the conversation roundtable.
Sure. Good evening, everybody, and good afternoon to some people wherever you're joining from. Thanks for having me, Ore, and thanks for organizing this. Just because in the interest of time, I'll just focus on the part of change, why we look at the video, that we can talk about the side effects and all those things, but we also have to put into consideration that this particular product or this set of habit has been from one generation to another. So you can imagine if you're saying your mom over 60 has been using it, for you to talk her out of it, God help you with that conversation. So I'm focusing on that part of change. We know human beings will change. So how do we get that awareness? Because let me tell you, even you watch this video again and again, send it to a lot of people. Some people are still going to be like, water on the bridge. We need that. You know what is it? What everything, something will shall kill somebody, they will say. One thing will kill somebody. So I'm focused on the part that, okay, yes, we can talk about all the statistics, we can talk about, which honestly we do know. There's a tiny voice telling you inside, because something that you just apply to it and automatically change the texture. I mean, you don't need something to tell you that there's something's going on, right? It's just, if you sit down objectively and think about it, even without doing any scientific thing, like you're not something, you start asking questions. But I'm focused on how do we integrate that change? How do we get people to see? We know change is difficult. So how do we, so I'll leave that as a kind of take home for everybody or anybody that is listening. How do you tell people that something has been from one generation to another, and you now automatically, thank God for the days when natural hair is an in thing, but it's not everybody that is still into it. Some people are doing it because other people are doing it, right? Not because they really want to do it. And when they get stuck, like, this is not working, and they're just like, but thank God for wigs. So the secret is not really out there like that. But assuming there's no wig and we have to just wear our own natural hair, how would you take that? How would you embody that with your lifestyle, with your day to day? So again, just to cap it up, I'll focus on the change. How do we get people to change that mindset? Over to
How
you.
do you get people to change that mindset? That's a deep one. And when Ayin was talking about, was Esther about men, and I was thinking about my father. I don't think he ever relaxed his hair. Either did he dyed his hair, and he did not. He had I can't remember that there was this particular thing he had that you had to this particular that in the I can't remember the word, close to his private part that you have to remove. It happens to elderly men when they're in their 50s. Can't remember the name of that thing. What do you call it? Yes, thank you. So that was so I'm wondering, he didn't do all of that and he had this. For me, this thing is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit controversial. I don't know. It's a bit, I know I have had this conversation. It's somehow for me. So that's why this is about your views. We're not talking about this. I'm saying this and I'm saying, do you think actually this thing actually cause? That's another topic for another day. Okay, so Auntie, what do you have to say? You're raising your hands.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let me just quickly just say something. So everybody has said everything, and it's true. And so its statistics is out there. The most important thing: what is cancer? What precipitates cancer? Cancer is an unusual growth of the regular body cells. So it's your normal body cells. It's not something that is strange. It's part of you. But now there's something that is making it to behave abnormally. Is dividing, is producing, is expanding. So when you look at it, there is a stimulus, there is an external thing that is making that normal cell to be misbehaving. So if you introduce something foreign, a chemical, there is a possibility that it might cause that, and some other people it would not. Our makeup are different. So you can't say, oh, it's because they didn't use it, or it's because they use it. Cancer comes, but there is always something that will not aggravate it, that will precipitate it, that will make it bigger. So it might be these chemicals, and it might be the food, it might be anything. The best thing we can do is to be safe. And so if this has been shown that there's a problem with it, what we need to do is to move on the safe side. Having said that, the reason why I came to this call was that I've been thinking, I haven't retouched my hair in a year, and it's becoming painful. And I'm thinking, I think I need to go and get a relaxer. So that's one of the reasons why I'm at this meeting. I have moved to texturizers, so I am here to learn.
Yeah, thank you also. So,
Can I
you'll get to that one.
please add something, please?
Okay.
Thank you. I would also say, like, I think we also, so I'm picking up from what Esther mentioned, which is that your scalp was burning. Part of the issues we have also with relaxers is the improper use of them. So your scalp is skin, right? Just like you would put products on your skin to help, better etc., and it seeps into your skin. It's the same way whatever goes on your scalp will seep into your scalp. actual and proper relaxer use tells you to avoid the scalp. But with the different levels of training that people get in Nigeria, you get freedom, right? For example, you don't go to your proper school and you're learning from other people. Many people have not properly learned the right way to apply relaxers in a way that it doesn't have these effects on you. So there's also that, right? The places you go and how you actually apply this thing to your scalp. People might say, now I'm giving you tips and for relaxers, do as you please with your hair. But what I'm saying is where you actually go, the training they've got also affects how these relaxers apply to your hair and how it might actually affect you internally. The hair, we say, is dead, meaning it doesn't have any cells. If it breaks, you don't feel it, versus if you clench your skin, you feel your skin. So really, what is happening on your hair doesn't really affect you as much. If it starts to get on your scalp, where it goes into your skin and into your immune system, into your body, is where we start to see it. So when they're applying your relaxers and you're massaging and everything is touching your scalp, we need to be very careful. That is really where the transfer happens, and then we start seeing it going into the stream. So I just wanted to add that in there. It's like making sure you're also going to people who are properly trained to use something that can be this harmful.
Thank you very much, Shine. That was very good, because I like what you said. You can still relax your hair, but you should just be careful. You just be careful on who is handling and how they are applying this relaxer. I remember when I started, when I started, first time I had to put relaxer on my hair, I just blew dry. I don't know, they called it at that time blow dry. So my mother just takes me to a salon and they just put a bit, just a few minutes. And I washed the relaxer off. I didn't have to stay. My mother didn't allow the hairstylist to leave the relaxer for long on my hair. So just 10 minutes or so. And so when I got to school, people don't get to know I've relaxed my hair. But the thing is that my hair gets softer. So I'm able to manage, I'm able to style, because when I was growing up, I liked threading my hair because my hair was very tough. So I never liked weaving my hair because I just didn't enjoy it. It was always painful. But when I did that, I was able to flaunt my hair by weaving it. So thank you for that. So Auntie, I hope we are getting there bit by bit.